Right. See, I've got this awful echo. I'm going to just fiddle for a second. I think that's it. See, I've still got this echo. Don't normally have an echo. How's that? See, I think I'm going to have this bloody awful echo. Can you hear the echo? Or is the sound okay? Is it just me that can hear the echo? I don't know why there's an echo. Oh, wait a minute. I should do it. Oh. That echo. No. I don't understand why I've got an echo. Oh, is that the echo gone now? Can you hear me okay now? Volume's off on the laptop, Lisa. The volume's off on everything apart from my phone. Right, so that's us now, but the microphone, you're going to have to just bear with me. There's going to be no microphone this morning. I don't know why that's not working, but it's not. It maybe wasn't in the case. It charges in the case, so it maybe wasn't in the case properly. Right, so I don't know who I said hello to and who I didn't, so we'll go back to the very beginning. I'll go back to the first no sound, which was, I think probably you got to Deb and Nancy. Hi Deb, hi Nancy, hi Sherry, hi Debbie, hi June. And you're all saying hello to each other, so I have to not. Hi Jenny, it's 1 p.m. here, Jenny. Hi Kathy, good morning, it's early for you, I think. Kathy has faith. Right, and if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But hello to everybody, and I hope you can finally hear me. So on Saturday, I did the playing with fabric scraps, and I went back and I don't know if you put this one's better to see, stitch them. So this one I did, it's like a double-sided blanket stitch, but sometimes the stitching is quite effective and fancying it up a bit. This one I did as a sort of almost like a quilting, you know, when they do the loop backwards and forwards on the quilting. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Did that round. This one was quite easy to actually do the lines in between because it was just diagonals and then horizontal lines. So it looks I quite like it. I like the way it turned out. And the thread I used for this one was this Gutterman sulky thread. And it's a thick thread. I think it's either a 28 or a 12 weight. It's quite, and you can see that against my hand. It's quite a thick thread, which is, it's got a nice soft sheen to it. So I did it on that one. And I did the same thread because it was the same fabrics, but different stitch on this weaving one. If you can see that. But I thought the colours in the thread went quite well with the colours in the fabric because it was the same sort of pinks and greens and things. And then, so the cut thread for this one is still in the sewing machine and it's a sort of variegated blue. But then for this one, I did the same stitch but on a different thread. And there's a thread I forgot to trim. You think you've got them all, and then you miss one. Hi Sheila, good morning. Hi Mitzi. And then you think you've missed one. That one was this thread here. But I realised I've picked up the wrong one. This is just an ordinary sew-all thread. And I've got the same sulky thread that's the same. I think it's a 12 weight actually. But yeah, it sort of lifts it a bit. I think it gives quite a good effect. I quite like it. And there was one that I'd already done with flowers. So it's quite effective. I quite enjoy doing it. And then from that, you can cut anything out. But today, and I've lost where I put, oh, here they are. I was going to do, I've got some diamonds. And this time I've got fabric, not, it's woven interfacing, not non-woven, I should say. but with this one, I thought I'd do a 6-pointed star with the diamonds. Like that. This is when you need your cutting out to be quite good. And then you just fill in the spaces. It's a sort of English paper piecing pattern. Put that one there. Different fabrics. I'm going to have to cut more diamonds out though. But what I used for that was a template I'd made on my Cricut with the seam allowance. So that's got 1/4 inch seam allowance for me cutting out English paper piecing papers. God, that's a mouthful. English paper building papers. But I can just, I used the inside of it to do it. But I think for this we need something to lift it. I don't know what I've got in the peach. That's not going to fit. I don't want it to all be green. There's a beige one. Or as my mother-in-law used to say, beachy. She never ever said beige, she always said beachy. There's a little bit of the peachy coloured one. And this is going into the selvage, but I don't mind. I'm going to take... Yeah, that flower stitch is cute, Joyty. That's the thing, we've got all these decorative stitches on our machines. And how often do we actually use them? So this is quite a good thing for making use of them. You do want a stitch that comes out on both sides or is thick enough that it covers the join. I've discovered when you're doing it. Because you want it to hold the fabric down, so you want it to cover both edges. So even a zigzag would work. But I wouldn't just use a plain blanket stitch. I would use, if you've got the double blanket stitch, because a plain blanket stitch only really, unless you were right over to one side, you know, right over both edges of the fabric. So I'm just using that as my template. Stick that one down there. I only need a few. It's amazing how quick it is. Blocks for quilts. Joyty, no, I'm not making blocks for quilts. I am just playing with scrap fabric. On Saturday, I've got a few things to show you, but I thought today I would just continue on with finishing up a couple of these pieces. But you can use these to decorate tote bags or t-shirts or anything. Just treat it like you would an applique block. It works quite well. That's my thread snips, that's not my fabric scissors. So yeah, I'd use this as a plique, but you can use it on paper, you can use it on fabric, you could stick it on a t-shirt. How many more do I need? Did somebody ask a question for that up? Hi, 3 patches of time. I'm doing both, Joy T. I'm making blocks and I'm experimenting with the stitches because it's just a bit, sometimes I don't know about yourself, sometimes I want to sort of sew and do something. I don't really want to quilt. So I need one more. And if I move that one around there, I could use a blue block to this one. And normally I use a pen, which you can see better, rather than the pencil. Yes, thanks, Deb. I forgot that 3 patches of time is Elaine. I always forget that. I'm sorry, Elaine. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions. This is a continuation from Saturday night. And this Saturday, I'm just trying to have different things, but this Saturday, I'll show you what you can do with all this rubbish, because it's just scraps. This is just scraps left over. I'm going to put them out the way. See, there's a hexagon template as well. And I've got the triangle one, which is just fallen in the bin. So if I don't retrieve it now, we'll never find it, because I'll forget. Now I need to try and fiddle with this, because I don't really want all these turquoise ones together. I'll put that one there. And that's the same pattern, but a different colour, so that's allowed there. And you could keep going. You could just keep building out and out and out with this. Or you could fill in just using strips or a different shape. So hi Sandra. Hi no, Paranormal Walks. I've forgotten your name. Good morning, Paranormal Walks. Hi Brenda. Hi Susan. I don't really think of this, Sherry, as puzzles. I just kind of think of this as just playing with fabric scraps. Oh, look, see, I found some more. So that's giving you a hexagon. If you all these diamonds like this gives you a hexagon. So you could just keep going with the diamonds and keep building out and out and out. You could do one, like that, and go out that way. And obviously these would get chopped off because I've not made the fabric go bigger, but you could just use some strips, which is what I might do. I might cut some strips. Where did I put from all this? And we can stick the strips down. I need to, I'm going to scooch over a bit so it's kind of in the middle a bit more. It's a bit more even, like that. But it's just to show you how easy it is. You can do whatever you like. You could do squares, you could do clamshell shapes, or you could just do the crazy one that I did like this with anything and everything. And some of them are overlapping. It's just whatever you like. So I'll get some, I've got these strips here. I can cut them to go. There's a peachy one on that side. Oh, it's funny, they've all ended up being the same fabric that I've got left in the strips. Look, it's all that flowery one. Maybe I didn't like that. in some different colours. Oh, look, there's black in the same. I don't think I'll use that. That's a bit of thick, but I can get a few things out of that. Use the skinnier pieces. Got this blue one that'll cut off the selvage. Not putting that there because it's the same. I'll put that one there. Trim them. I need 2 more. Hi, Flicky Chicky. He went to his first show. How old is he now? Flicky Chicky has a baby basset. I'm very, very jealous. You all know how I feel about bassets, and she's got a baby basset, and he looks just like my Hugo did. I'm going to use the thicker side here so it covers that like that. And I haven't decided how I'm going to trim that up. I might come straight down from the points coming out that way. I need a little bit for here. That I might just cut another piece of that and stick it on. But yeah, that's, and do the same with the peach. That's basically how that's going to look. Turn that this way a bit more, like that, and then trim it up. Sherry's saying, Mona, are you seeing pouches and bag panels here? Yeah, that's the thing. You can make anything like that. It's great. And it's just from scraps. So it's basically free fabric. You know, girl maths. We've already paid for it. It's been used for its original project. So whatever you use it for now doesn't count in the costs. It's free. That's how girl maths works. And yeah. I'm going to shove these out the way. I'm going to have to lift this and try and iron it. Ha, that's going to be fun. I should probably try and cut these first. Like that. Lift that one out the way. And I'm going to cut the underneath the other one as well that's overlapping at the same point. And try not to cut the interfacing at the back. There. So they'll sit like that. I might just tuck that edge under so you don't see there the pinked edge. I'm just going to cut these 2 bits so they butt up against each other. Well, I'm going to swap these round actually. Now it won't fit. Oh no, it should still work there. Oh wait. Cut that one a bit longer. This one's going to be a bit wonky, but here you go. That's it. And then I'm going to tuck this under the edge as well. So see, it's just a case, you're just playing about. But yeah, you can do anything with it. You took breed and owner handled adults also and pulled a group 3. Didn't do anything in adult group, but he was being a baby basshole by then. Poor Dom Flicky Chicky. Basshole's what you call a bad basset. It's basically an asshole, a basshole. Bassets are very good at being assholes. If they don't want to do something, it's very difficult to get them to do something they don't want to do. I didn't cut that bit very well at all, did I? tuck that pinked edge. All these pinked edges getting tucked in. It's easier, I think, to turn this than it is to try and lift the piece and try that. But that's kind of just what I'm going with, is doing this. I'm going to use my other scissors because they're a little bit sharper. The big ones are good for cutting yardage. These are good for smaller cuts. There we go, like that. And then cut this one. Like that. And then last one. Last one. I'll stand up to do this because I'm at the wrong angle. So it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing. That's what's great about it, is it doesn't have to be perfect. And when you do the stitching, the decorative stitching on the top, that covers, I'm going to trim this edge off an absolute multitude of sins. Because this is like, it's got like a frayed edge on it. Here. I'm going to trim that one up. Like that. That one can go like that, and then I can put that one over the top and just trim it off when they're all pressed down. There. And I'll probably need a little bit of turquoise or something cut off here to stick on there, because that's the salvage edge. So just so I can see, yeah, I'm going to cut that bit off and stick it on. So what's going on in the chat? Hi, Rita. Yeah, applique is so much fun. Hi, Danelle. And Flicky Chicky's telling me more about Dom. He took both puppy rounds on Saturday and Sunday. Best opposite to his aunt on Saturday, an adults group 2, an adult owner handled. He's just a little baby. He's just a little baby. He's gorgeous. What is Zaza bringing? Sandra, I'm just using up fabric scraps. If that's what you mean, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm using up fabric scraps, and I did it on Saturday, and I'm just continuing. I'm making things like this to then do applique and make other things, which I'll be doing on Saturday. But I thought I'd use these diamonds today. On Saturday, I also did hexagons using English paper pieceline templates that I've got to cut out different things. So today it was diamonds because I had some cut out. Have I missed any other questions from anybody before we go any further? If you ask again. So It's just a fun way to use up scraps. But as I say, I've got some things to show you that you can actually do with this. It's not a complete waste of time. Some good things, especially with Christmas coming up. It's quite handy. And I don't know if you want to, I got some Happy Mail this week from me. That I bought for me that arrived in the post. I ordered some of this one. Well, they sent me this because the one I'd ordered, they didn't have this is an Andover Fabrics. It's editor sitter. And it's obviously a cheater print, it's English paper pieceling, but they sent me this one which is, see the selvage edge says garden patch pattern. But the one I wanted, which I then got from somebody else, was this one, which is diamonds, like we're doing today. Another is editor sitter again, from Laundry Basket Quilts. And this one is called, trying to find it on the selvage. It's this Andover Stardust pattern 831. But I don't know, now that I've got it here in the flesh, it didn't look like that online. I don't like that pink that you see, sort of a purpley colour. If it didn't have that in it, I would quite like it. I had bought it to make something for my mum for her birthday. I was going to make her one of those quilted hugs, I think they're called. So I think she won't mind that, but I thought it was pink. I thought it was a pinker colour. You know, I'm not a fan of purple. I don't mind proper purple like this, but I'm not so keen on this kind of colour. I think she'll still quite like it. So I was going to quilt this and make one of those quilted hug things, which is like a little slip-on. It's almost like a blanket that you wear as like a wee shrug, like a cape, to keep you warm because it's her birthday at the end of the month. And then I got this panel, which I like, which I thought would be quite nice. And I've got beautiful, this is another Laundry Basket Quilts. And this is the compass panel. But I have got these beautiful fabrics that I got from Kathy Faith when she visited in the summer. And they will go perfectly with that because they're Laundry Basket as well. So I'm going to make something with going to cut out the circles. I haven't decided if I'm going to cut them out as circles or cut squares out with the circles in them and use this to make blocks in between. But that was my thinking on these ones. Hi, Joe. Vita says she likes taking scraps and sewing together to make yardage and then using that as a backing. Yeah, I don't really like sewing. I don't like making scrap quilts and things. Weird, I know, since I'm playing with scraps, but these will be for a different project. They will not be, not really sewing with them. And then this bad boy arrived last week and I forgot to show you on Saturday. My big parcel. But this was good because the company that I pre-ordered this from, you can pay it up. So this is a half-yard bundle. I feel like I've been waiting on this forever. And there's some free goodies. If you pre-order from a Tula what the word I'm looking for. Tula collection. If you pre-order a Tula collection from them, they always give you a little present. So it's all wrapped up in here, in the bag inside. You don't need to see that. That's my. So it's the half-yard bundle of the Grey Works. So I don't know if you're all sick of seeing Grey Works or if you'd like to see it. You can let me know in the chat. But we'll have a look while you decide if you want to actually see that bundle. Here's my freebies, a little pin badge. You get one with every collection from them if you pre-order it. Can you see that? I don't know if it's back to front or not. I'm doing that one and I can see. So it says, lovely jubbly Tula Troops, Grey Work 2025. And you get a sticker as well. So you get a pin badge and a sticker. There's 3 metal threads in greys, which is quite handy. I think so, yeah, 100 meters on each spool. The black, a dark grey, and a light grey. Some Haribo Star Mix, which I always like, and a zip. It's quite a nice, about 1/2 meter of zip. I think I've actually got some of this in the drawer. It's got a nice star zipper pull on it. Because I think that's a Sally Tomato zip. So that's my freebies that I got for ordering. Flicky Chicky says she adores Grey Works. She got a bowl of every single one. Oh my God, Flicky Chicky. No, Flicky Chicky's not in Discord. I can't. That must have cost an absolute fortune. I really like this. I might order more of this. I think that's a great fabric. The stripe, the rainbow stripe. And then there's, I'm going to take it out the bundle. I'll take this off the ends. You can see better. And the dots, the rainbow dots are nice. And it's upside down. We'll turn it around. We can move that out the way. And then we have the seals. That's better than that one. And then as triangles, grey and black triangles. And then the wolves in the dark. And grey and black polka dots. And different wolves in the dark. It's got small leaves. That one's big leaves. They're all slightly different. And the wolves are different. These got sort of leaves in them. These ones don't. And then a black and grey polka dot. And there's the leopard. And this leopard has got stars and hearts for his spots. And there's more of the polka dot, but different colours. The opposite way round. Not polka dot, triangles. I need to go back to school. Polka dot. That's nice. That's the... Oh, somebody help me out. That's a sort of Tula that she does in... It's in a lot of ranges, this one with the birds. The rainbow fairy frost, I think. And then there's different seals with the grey. And different, there's lighter grey triangles. And a grey stripe. And there's the light grey cheetah. I think it's a cheetah. And that one's got flowers on it rather than the stars. And more polka dot, more fairy frost. big polka dot. And then the puffins, I quite like the puffins because we have lots of puffins out in the Forth. It's quite famous. People come to view the puffins, one of the islands out there that's not inhabited by people. Fairy dust, that's it, Danelle. Flicky Chicky, thank you. It's covered in puffins. It's a puffin breeding colony. And have boat trips out to see it. I don't know if I like that one with the grey, with the colours. Not sure. I like the dots better than I like the stripes. And then that's the light wolves. Dark wolves, light background. So yes, that's that. So that arrived this week. So I'm quite looking forward. So that's the half yard bundle. So I should get quite a few good things out of that. Everybody at Pottery always makes puffins and puffin things. Trying to tie this back up. It'll never go back in. Oh, well, maybe. That's a surprise. Normally these things, once you take them out the packaging, you never get them. You know, when they're tied up, when you take it out, you can't get them back in. Flatten it out. Brute force and ignorance. There we go. Back, so there's my bundle. Now covered in threads. So they came from Lovely Jubbly Fabrics. And there's a little note on the bottom of the package. It says, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your order and continued support of my small business. It means everything. May this parcel of goodies fill you with joy. Love, Jade." Which is quite nice. I always find when you order from small businesses, they appreciate your business more. Put this up here. You've got your dark rainbow dye, hopefully, to play with this. Oh yes, Flicky Chicky dyed some of her Tula Pink cut fabric. And we were talking about it on Off Crafter Quilter Ian. That's not easy to say. It's live stream on week that she dyed. I think it was Lineworks that you dyed, Flicky Chicky. So, which is normally black and white. So because it's normally black and white, obviously the colour took in the white areas, but you still got the pattern from the black. Which sounded quite amazing, actually. And I've put my scissors away and I need to cut this bit off. I'm going to stick the iron on. I'm going to fold that back. I know where to cut. And then I'm going to tuck this back under to get rid of that pinked edge. And then we'll stick it down. To cut that selvage off. Now that I've tucked it in, I don't know how many times I've tucked that one piece in. What's it they say, the definition of insanity or something? Is doing the same thing over and over again, even though you know it doesn't work. I don't think I've just proven that with that one there. I'll turn that around like that. Oh, look, that fits in not bad there. Pattern doesn't match, but I don't mind that. But the pieces fit. So I just need to stick the iron on. So yes, Flicky Chicky, you'll need to post in Ian's Facebook group your fabric when you do it, so that we can all get to see it. Lisa's lurking and working, but she stopped to admire the fabric. Painters are here, have to done it. Oh, good luck with the painter, Sandra. I hope you have better luck with your painters than I had with my floor fitter last week. He was a nightmare. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Somebody's dogs are fighting outside. Small dogs. Flicky Chicky says, the over-dyed linework quilt is my current show quilt. It's pretty. I did submit it for QuiltCon, but I think it's too traditional. Hi, Katie. Yeah, QuiltCon, they're quite particular about what, of course, they get so many entries for QuiltCon as well. So they can afford to be like super picky and about things. I mean, they get something like 4,000 or 5,000 entries, don't they? And they'd only take something like 800 quilts. There's a quilt show, the one I went to in the UK, and they accept all the quilts that are submitted. They've got the space. So you're kind of guaranteed that if you send off your quilt to them, it'll get in. And some of them you can enter them, they'll just go on display, they won't be judged. So I might do that. Get my toes wet first of all. Don't know if I'm ready for somebody else to judge my work yet. Yeah, no, yeah, Flicky, you've got to go for it because they've got to pick somebody's. Somebody's got to get chosen. But they like original things, so even just the fact that you've overdyed, things like that is what they like. So this might be your year, Flicky Chicky, and good luck. Because I have seen the ones that didn't get in. There's a group, Facebook group. There's a page on Instagram that they post all the people submit their ones that didn't get in. And you think they're the ones that didn't get in. It's quite brutal indeed. Right, so that's all stuck down now. I might just trim this roughly with the scissors. So that you can get an idea. Obviously, it's going to have to be stitched over the top like the other pieces, but this one's far more flexible because it's on woven interfacing rather than unwoven interfacing. Hi, Happy, good morning. Thanks for joining. I'm playing with diamonds and English paper piecing shapes, but I'm not English paper piecing. It's just scraps I'm playing with. I did it on Saturday's live and I'm just continuing with it today. And then this Saturday, I will show people the things that you can make with them. Some of the things you can make. I should really have peeled that back and stuck a green bit in there. Might do that yet. I think I will do that. Not paying attention, you see. Yeah, I like English paper piecing, Danielle. It stops me filling my face with rubbish at night when I watch the TV. That's the biggest benefit from it that I get. Obviously, you're making nice things too, but oh look, that'll do the job nicely, that bit there. Flicky Chicky over-dyed or tula into oversized pineapple blocks. It's an explosion of colour, but it's fun and actually perfect points because of foundation paper piecing. Good morning, Nikki. Yeah, foundation paper piecing. I still have trouble with that. The whole back to front thing messes with my brain. So yeah, that's obviously got to get stitched down, but you can see it's compared to this is quite hard, sort of papery, and it's not that flexible. You know, if you do that and put it like, it'll stand up. There's no way this will stand up. It's much softer. So if you were going to sew something with it, I would be tempted to use the woven interfacing, especially if you were going to put on a t-shirt or something you were going to wear. Hi, Brenda. She's just hand stitching for the same reason, relaxing and still creating. Yes, keeps your hands busy and calms your mind. English paper piecing kept me sane through COVID. That was when I started mini English paper piecing. I hadn't done it since I was a kid, and then when I started, I watched Emma Jones from the Vintage Sewing Box, and she does mini English paper piecing. So that was what I started doing with quarter. I hadn't done it for like 30 odd years, and then I started with 1/4 inch hexagons. I must have been crazy. But yeah, that's obviously got to get stitched, but it's not bad. Decorative little block. And I think I'll use this thread again because that worked quite well on the other block. And I just have to decide what kind of stitch to do. But that's that. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. Rita put an applique star on her shirt yesterday and did not use any type of sticky interfacing. You wanted it super soft and puffy 3D effect. Used fleece as backing. So did you just stitch it down, Rita? You didn't stick it to, you used the, get it to stick, words, God. You just got it to stick to the fleece and then stitched it down. Flicky Chicky thinks EPP is annoying. Too slow to see results, yet you like hand quilting. I don't know, I can go at a not bad speed for English paper piecing. Hi, Heather. How are you? I haven't started month 3 yet for my spectacle of scraps. Does anybody have any questions about anything before? I've not missed anything today. It's hard trying to keep up with the chat because it can move really fast. These are all skills that you have to learn. They're not things that you just know how to do. It's quite easy when you're sitting in the chat because you're reading the chat as it's coming up. But when you're trying to do something and keep an eye on the chat and the chat's moving quickly. Rita said she made an actual star quilt block and then sewed it down. I think I get what you mean, Rita. Well, Kathy, I don't speak until I've had at least 2 cups of coffee and my cup of tea in the morning. But it's lunchtime now, it's 2 o'clock here, so I don't really have the morning excuse. Lucky Chicky's making a commissioned t-shirt quilt. She hates them but likes the money. I've never made a t-shirt quilt. I watch Amber and Jennifer, the cheeky quilters, and they're funny. They're on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're looking for somebody to watch Amber and Jennifer. They're funny. They're mother and daughter. So they do predominantly t-shirt quilts. So they started off doing that, and now Amber does collage quilts. She does amazing collage quilts. Sherry's got one. I'm quite jealous. Flicky Chicky, it's 6 a.m. for you. Oh. Heather, you might need to go back out and come back in again. YouTube's been a bit weird. I had to do that yesterday. I was watching, I can't remember who it was, Debbie in Quilt Effect, and the sound kept coming in and out, like her microphone wasn't working properly. But half the people had sound issues and half didn't, and I went out and came back in again, and it was fine. So if nobody else has seen it, it might just be YouTube. It might not be anything to do with your internet. Rita says she takes t-shirts and cuts them into strips and uses the strips for making rugs when you're peg loom. Oh, I think I've seen people do that, actually. So, yeah. Saturday night we will I'll show you the things I can do with this, but you can use it for anything that you can use fabric for, really. You miss Fallon and Matt on a Wednesday night, Joy T? Yes, I miss Fallon and Matt too. That was good fun on a Wednesday night. I'll get Norman and we can come on and do Fallon, and we can do Zaza and Norman on a Wednesday night. He wouldn't do that. It would be far too late for him. He's in his bed long before then. But then when Fallon and Matt came on, it was tea time for them because they're in Texas. So it's late for us, but it was because they used to go out, they used to have their dinner afterwards because Matt was usually always starving by the time they got off. But that was good watch on a Wednesday night. They were good fun. Life has just got dizzy. Nikki says YouTube is fine on our phone, but buffering on our TV. I'll get Norman to dress up in his kilt. I might get more subscribers if he does that. Get Norman and Christopher in their kilts and come on a Saturday night and see if it'll get me more subscribers. They can just stand in the background. I don't know what the weather's like by everybody today, but it's horrible here. It's miserable and wet. And I've been on for just about an hour, and I'm going to go because Laurie's coming on. And quilting in the country, Laurie, and it's not fair if I go over because she was on before I started doing this. So I'm going to get off and let the people that normally watch Laurie watch her. Been on for an hour. You can come back Saturday if you want to see what I do. I've got a few panels made, and there'll be lots of different things. Some will be sewing, some will be crafty. You can all see. But I'll be back on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll see you all then. Goodbye.